Let's talk about some of the worst advice we've ever been given. So for people listening, hopefully they can avoid it, past those pitfalls that we encountered. Certainly for me, it was HVAC was tough. HVAC was really cutthroat for us. Again, I want to be clear, it's not the industry. We have a number of HVAC clients that are great human beings and do things well. But it was, you just always be closing. That was the thing that we were taught, ABC. I think there's some legitimacy to it, but it was make the sale under all circumstances, under any circumstance. You walk out there with money. And I did that. And ultimately you end up with a lot of unhappy people because you're just there to take. And so we switched to there to give. I think it's a much harder mentality to get into, but I think it develops so many more skills. You get into that mindset of being a giver, which doesn't just affect your business, it affects your life, right? It affects your family members, affects yourself, affects your little personal bubble. Getting into that mindset of helping more people. But for me, it was that if you're a salesperson, your job is to leave with money, no matter the experience you go into. And eventually I left HVAC because like my heart literally hurt. I couldn't sleep at night, and I would talk to the team about it, and I would say, like, are we doing this right? Like, is this good for us? And then they would refer back to the paychecks, right? It would always be justified with these ridiculously large paychecks. But ultimately for me, it burnt down. All the partners in this team separated, I think because it was mainly built on greed. And I think we see that a fair bit in business and sales. Anybody listening to this has heard about greed before, these huge corporations, bottom line, this type of stuff, which we won't speak to because we're not that. But I think greed inches its way in when there's large sums of money at play. And I think a good chunk of sales are built on those tactics. What do you think? What have you been through?
Always be closing was probably one of the worst pieces of advice that I got, because it just sets you into this mentality of focusing on the dollar and not focusing on actually helping the person, right? When you're out there offering something, you're doing it because you're trying to solve or have a solution to a problem, you're trying to help them solve their problem, and getting down to the root of that problem and then offering something after you've listened to them is a far better approach than just simply going in, not really paying attention or listening to what they have to say, because you're only focused on yourself and the amount of money that you could make off that person. So saying things that, whether you're bending the truth or you're overhyping something to get that person or convince them to then eventually, purchase said product or service. But you don't know what you don't know. So for a while I was going around and doing that. And then you learn, you get older, you learn these things, you get more wise. And I think the way that we do it now anyway, I won't speak for anybody else, but giving without asking for anything in return, being kind, listening. We say no almost as much as we say yes.
To what? What do you mean?
Well, we sit down with the business owner and go through an entire consultative approach to really gather that information from them, information that we need in order to do our job properly, to see, are they in the right position? Where are they now? Where do they want to go? Do they have the necessary ingredients to get there? What's their knowledge level when it comes to marketing? And we've said no like 3 times last week. We said no. They weren't, either the business owner wasn't in the right position, and instead of trying to push something on them that would line our pockets with yet a smaller subset of dollars, but they're still dollars, we opted to not do that, and instead we educated that business owner and we gave them some free tools and resources so we could at least help them along the way, even though we didn't get any financial benefit from it. But that made me feel real good. I slept like a baby that night.
Yeah, no, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, I try to be, I'm reminded of this often. I forget which mentor, whether dead or alive, in a book, an ancient, one of them, said the true litmus test of how well you did the day is how well you sleep. Like all of that shit from the day creeps up at night. That's where the regrets come in. That's where the shitty feeling comes in. So if you sleep well at night, unless you're like a sociopath, I think you've done well during the day. Another piece of bad advice for me was about being a boss. We lead our team, we hire our people, we pick our partners. And it was, you're the boss, they do what you tell them to do. It's like a dictatorship. We want a democracy in our countries, which is a voting system, a bunch of people getting together, trying to find the right answers. We don't like the authoritative approach. This is mine, do what I say. But we see so many businesses like that. I mean, my own family. I won't speak too much on it because they're probably going to watch this, but I had a position with one of them for a while, and it was that. It was very much, this is my business, do exactly what I say, or you're not here. And then you often end up with this round peg in this square hole type of thing. You don't really know why you don't feel well until, the situation kind of reveals itself to you more. But ultimately you're being put into a position that doesn't align with you. So Gary Vee talks about it quite elegantly. I really like it. He's like, if you're the owner of the company, if you're the boss, your job is to serve your team. What he said, I just watched this video from him the other day. It seemed ridiculous and almost unachievable, but he's like, he pointed to a guy out in the crowd. He's like, how many employees you have? He says, 330. He's like, great number. Your job is to find out all of their personalities, find out their likes, dislikes, desires, how they want to work, remote, in-house. Your job is to find out the best environment for them to produce in and make sure that they know that you're there every day to find out the best environment for them to produce in, and then they'll produce in it. That's the opposite side of the coin that I've been taught the most, that the boss isn't there to serve the team. The team is there to make the boss's life better, to make them more money. It's their vision that the team is there to build for them. Ultimately, like, I'm giving you a job, be thankful. I'm paying you money, be thankful, now do what I say. And just hearing that sentence, whoever's listening to this is probably gonna say to themselves, just hearing that sentence doesn't sound right. Humans just don't get along well that way. We don't like being told what to do. We don't like having no autonomy or agency over our own life. So on our team, I think if you asked our team who the bosses were, they would say, but if you ask them how they felt about it, like, do they micromanage? We don't do any of that. People want to work in-house or remotely, they can. They want to fly over to Jerusalem and live there for 5 months and work for us. It's no problem. And even vacation time, it's like, just let us know when you're going. But they have work to do as long as they get it done and they're taking care of their responsibilities. We have this cohesive system that is a community with no hierarchy with us. They ask us to do things and give us deadlines. Shannon, who's going to watch this, is like, Jeff, I need this done by this time at this time. I gave her a task to do, a responsibility, a group of things to do. She's working it out, and now she's letting me know when she needs it to be done and giving me demands. And ultimately, we pay her check. But that's how I think it should be. And that took me a long time. The selfless selling kicked in a while ago. But the being a decent leader, which I'd like to think we are, still so much to learn about leadership, we're there to serve our team.
People don't leave jobs, they leave bosses, right? And I've always enjoyed the democratic leadership style, being able to check in with my team, getting their opinion on something and not just rely on my own opinion. And I've had experiences in the past where I was not able to do that. It was coming from higher up and I'm the middle person leading the team. And those decisions, I didn't agree with it, but I was forced to carry out said command. And we had people leave our organization, said like, I can't handle working for the guy. Even though they're kind of working for me, but we never said it. I never said it that way. I always tried to make sure like, we're all on the same team here. I have the final say of what it is. But let's move forward together. Let's work on this together. Let's do these tasks together. And that always kind of served me well. But when you're not able to do it the way that I thought was the best way, especially for my personality and how I operated it, intertwining and mingling with other human beings, it just sucked because you see the resentment on people's faces, the productivity goes down, and that only lasts for so long before people are like, I don't want to be treated this way, and And I'll say the world has really come at such a far place from that old school mentality of like what you were talking about, it being, you work for me and you do what I say and it's all for me, and that kind of greed component to it, where I think in the world today it's flipped on its head, where the leader needs to invest in their people. They need to be able to give them that right scenario, that right environment for them to have that productivity, to compensate them well, and to just treat them like a good human being. You do that, you're going to build an incredible culture within your organization, and the productivity levels will be running and firing on all cylinders. You're probably going to make a lot of money doing that.
It's interesting, the money part. We did this with two of our team members, our two most involved team members. A lot of the other part of our team members are independent contractors. So a little bit different than like in-house employees, which we would consider Shannon and Chloe. We found out what the going rate was, and then we considerably bumped it to let them know, like, your situation matters to us, your pay matters to us. We do ask for a lot. We expect a lot from all of us, and they expect a lot from us. Being on time, doing clean work, quality work, getting back to clients, treating them a certain way. But ultimately, if they can enjoy the experience, which comes down to a number of things, like what's the work that you're giving them? Is their personality set for it? If they don't want to do what you're asking them to do because they're not fit for it, like sell when they're better at admin, I think we've done pretty well at connecting the right personality to the right work by simply asking them, what is it you want to do? And these are the things we have available. Then we bump their pay considerably. So, pay raises and things like that, doesn't really come up. They seem to be pretty satisfied. And then it really is like this friendship, this community that we have amongst each other. We check in frequently, but there's very little demands that are made. And, I feel very privileged to have the team that we have working as well as it does. And each person, it's like the ship, we're taking it somewhere. Somebody's there to take care of the materials. Somebody's there to take care of the compass. Somebody's there to take care of the food. They're all doing their own thing like a real team. You look at a hockey team, yeah, there may be more or less leaders on that team, but they're all of equal value regardless of their pay. They're there to do a job together. Any person pulls out of that line, and you're going to have your quality go down. And that's how I like to look at our business. And that was a big, huge change for me, as it's so much easier to be like, this is my business. I'm investing more than you. I'm working more than you. I hired you. I'm paying you. I, in all of those statements. Do what I say. You can take that approach. It didn't work for me. It didn't feel good when I was on the receiving end of it. And, look at what we've built now. That's been going on for quite some time. People seem to enjoy it. And we ask that question all the time. We also ask our team, what can we do better? Not just our clients. That's the key thing that we ask our clients, but we ask our own team, people that we pay, what could we do better to make your job better? Hours, weekends, would you rather that than a Tuesday? How would us changing something make your life better? We look at the work that they're doing and say, how can we make it more efficient for you? If we inject AI into this somehow, if we use the system, if we bring our support team into this, would that help you? Constantly figuring out ways to make their situation better. And ultimately, I can't speak for them, but they seem to be pretty dang happy. We just got off a meeting with them on the way here, and everybody's smiling and goofing around and wishing you the best for your wedding. It's a real tight-knit team. I know there's companies out there that have that, but when it comes to some of the worst advice I've been given, it really was, whether I was told it or I just emulated it because I saw it from all the bosses that I was with, or a lot of them, that sent me down a path that ultimately had a huge brick wall at the end of it, and I ran right into it. And that was the HVAC experience, certainly not our marketing company.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And so, hopefully somebody watching this, maybe they resonate, maybe they didn't know, maybe they look inside and say, how am I treating my team? Yeah, how am I treating my team? Yeah. Maybe I want to take a different approach. Maybe there's a little bit more than just making money in life.
And to the money part, I don't care why you do business. If it's a greater purpose, you want to make the world a better place, you want to put food on the table, status, whatever your reason is, your life is yours to live. We're all going to die one day, and I have no control over how you live and shouldn't have any say about it. your judgment is your own, the way you live your life is your own. But if your only goal is to make money, and you're coming at it from a perspective of, what did I want to say? I created this business. You should be grateful to work for me. I don't think you're going to get as much out of that person as you could, as if you think about what the reality is.
It's the opposite.
You're making more money because of them. You wouldn't have what you have without them. If we lost our main team of 5, I don't know, what would our business be, a third of what it is? And I'd be stressed to the max and have even less life than I do now. So really, just like the clients, just like the community, just like the team, your life wouldn't be what it is without them. So you can take the approach of, I created this, you owe me, be grateful to me, the all-powerful boss, which, again, sounds horrible. There's a lot of bosses out there like that, though, if we're being honest. You could flip it to the opposite. Your life wouldn't be what it is without them. So really, a good part of what you have is owed to them. And I think a lot of employees and team members know that as well.
There's a lot of business owners that we come across constantly. How's it going? How's your business? How are things going out there? And it's like, man, it's a struggle. I just can't find anybody good.
So many.
I can't find anybody to work for me. We can't find any employees. We're at a bottleneck in our business. I just need more employees and we'd be able to scale. And it's hard to find good people. Not saying that it's across the board, because yes, it is hard to find good people. So it's that much more important that when you get somebody into your organization, that we make sure that we treat them well. That's what we do in our business. We make sure that they feel compensated a little bit more than appropriately to show that kind of love. Obviously, everybody's got expenses and you need to make sure that your payroll is in line, that it's not overinflated, but at the same time, how you treat people, how you ask for things as well is very important. Hey, go do this, or, can you take care of this? Even going a step further and being a little bit more gracious, thinking a little bit more through, getting their opinion. Hey, what do you think if we maybe made this change? Make them feel empowered in their position.
Huge.
That democratic kind of leadership style really will bolster their confidence, make them feel good at where they're in. If people like where they work and they like their boss, it'll be hard to try for somebody else to try to pry them away. Because there are people that are trying to pry people away from other businesses. Oh, yeah. It's happening all the time.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a huge point. Is we again, just this meeting that we came off of right now. What do you think? We're going to do this. This is what we want to do. Here's the why behind it. Your opinion is critical to us. What do you think we should do? And Shannon said exactly what she thinks we should do. She offered to meet on evenings, after hours, to get it done. Like, you couldn't want more than that. But ultimately, here's the truth. We don't know what to do. So we could say, do this or do that, and then have it be wrong. Or we could bring the brains together. Like, let's think about this and solve this problem together. Ultimately, that's what we're doing. Forget the labels, forget the titles. We're solving problems together, all to try to live better lives, I think, is mainly what people are trying to do. Get wealthier, get healthier, have better relationships, have more fun, live a great life while you're here. Those are all problems that need to be solved. So once you start slapping labels on low-end employee, high earner, boss, CEO, whatever, it tends to get complicated. People start talking to you differently. People start showing up differently, when ultimately we're just a group of humans trying to solve problems together and live a pretty cool life.
Or even when there's an underperformer, instead of, way back in the day when I was a young leader, I'm still young, but really young leader, somebody was underperforming and I was kind of putting just more of the blame and saying there's no way to fix this until, I finally matured in age, gained more experience to really go to that individual when that happened again and take the time to understand them a little bit more and like what's going on. It could be something personal happening in their life. Maybe they didn't understand. Maybe they didn't have the courage or confidence to come and ask for help. Maybe they were poorly trained. Maybe it was something that I did or I said that they didn't bring to my attention. And having that kind of open door policy so that they feel comfortable coming in and talking to me and ended up changing a lot for me.
Yeah.